Hey, welcome back. Today we're going to try to get at some of the problems we've got with Moose, just minor things. Um, Headlights are out of alignment. They don't blind people, they're not pissing anybody off, and they still work quite nicely, but they are set a little high. So I'm going down an alley and I'm lighting up like signs for miles, but the road right in front of me is just lit. It's not bright or anything. It's just lit. It's nice. I don't mind it, to be honest, but just would be a little nicer when you're in those kind of off light situations. It's a bit off, It's not quite as bright as it should be for the intensity of the lights. So we're going to dial them down a little bit, bring them in, get them set up a little bit better. Um, we've got the tail light to replace that we smashed, and done some work on the bumper before we went out. I'll show you that footage, as well as what happened pulling Mitch out and what we need to fix to make sure that we don't have any problems again. Unfortunately, the bumper did tweak again. Not the frame, but the bumper itself. And you'll see what I'm talking about in the video. So, hope you enjoy. Let's get at it. So, if you're watching, yeah, we broke the tail light. Took a good chunk out of it, actually. Didn't look that bad when it was on the truck, but when I took it off, it fell apart, and yeah, it was rough. Now, these don't look too bad. They're still red. The insides aren't quite as shiny as they probably were originally, but they're not bad. They work, or worked. At least that one did. But gotta love Amazon. There we go. Brand new one. Nice and shiny. Same thing. It's got brand new screw clips in it. Everything. The only thing is this one does not, and if you're buying one, this one does not come with the electrical. You have to remember to keep that out of the other one. So the whole electrical clip that the light bulbs go in, that's separate. So that's okay. I already kind of guessed that and kept it. So we're going to get this in that hole very soon. The other thing you might notice the distance between here and here. Yeah, there's not much room there. I can squeeze in there and that's about it. Up front, I've got this ripped apart because I'm working on the headlights. There's enough room for me to stand here and kind of squeeze around. A lot different than when we had Mike's Big Bird in here. We could walk around that thing all the way around pretty much and work on it. Big difference in my garage space. Once I get this beast in here, all of a sudden I don't have a garage anymore. So we're going to be getting that tail light back in here. We're going to take this off, and you'll see the footage of what you can see, the tilt to it a bit here. You see that it's damaged there, and what my plans are to fix that in a more permanent situation. I just got it together, did a patch hoping it was going to work, and it kind of held up, but not well enough. So it didn't fall off. We're still good there. We could still yank things around with it, no problem, but when I'm done with it, it's going to be a whole lot better. Now, on the other side, which, I'll squeeze you guys through here with me. Oh, there we go. We're on the other side. So, yeah, it's kind of missing. Yeah, we had to cut this off because this part didn't want to come off. This part ripped off. So I've still got screws in here and a couple other things. I'm going to take them out. We're going to put on a new flare. As you can see, I've got rust popping again. So this is aggravating. And this literally is a section that I fiberglassed. So I do not know how rust is popping through fiberglass. So I'm going to be sending this down and investigating. Maybe my fiberglass didn't come up far enough or something. I don't know. I'm going to double check that and redo here. This is all good, but right here is rusting. And on the other side it's rusting a bit. So I'm going to try to get to some of that. This side's still good, but as you can see, it is a little bit more faded than the new one. But I don't feel like putting the money out right now. As I said, this is a bit of a tight squeeze through here. There we go. Oh, I wasn't lazy. I could have walked to the front and hit the button and opened the garage door. It would have been easier. But anyway. All right. We got our 2 holes there, our clips there, and this is our new light. Get you hooked in here. All right. So here we go. Brand new light. Very nice. We've got nice supple rubber. Our new clips where they're supposed to be. And as I said, it doesn't come with this part. So this part you've got to screw in afterwards. So this is our light components. Drops in there and lines up perfectly. Beautiful. Now, in my case, these are just little Phillips. Kind of dead ones, but they're Phillips. I didn't mention, but the inside of this has a little rubber gasket in it. Doesn't hurt to double check that before you put this together. I already checked it, but double check it, make sure it's in good shape. You don't want any water getting in there any more than you're already gonna. You know, if you're wheeling, you're still pushing your luck anyway. So if you can avoid known problems, always better. So there we go. Bulbs are back in. My plug fell down. Oh man, it fell right out of there. I'm supposed to have a plug in there somewhere. There it is. All right. Yeah, moose a bath and he's still dropping dirt on it. All right. Oh, wow. That even seals in there nice. I don't think, well, yeah, it's still there, but you really didn't notice the rubber on this one when you were putting it in and out compared to this one. That was a tight fit. That's nice. Oh, that looks good. All right, let's get these screws in the side. There we go. All right. I'm one down. Now, if you haven't had to take your grill off your 88 by now, you probably don't do much work on your truck. But, or it's new to you. I will give you that. Okay? But you've got a screw up here, screws in here, Sometimes there's a clip. And then behind this, your turn signals, you got 4 screws in the front. There's another clip hiding back in there. So don't forget about that one. You start reefing on it, you're going to break something. Okay? Don't have to take this out. You just take this guy out, move them forward, and then you can get back into the screw, and it comes out. They're all, in my case, they're all 7 mil. I don't know if that's standard or not, but in my case, they were all 7 mils. Now, if you've seen my light episode, if not, hopefully you'll go back and check it out. These are all custom frames because these bulbs were too big for the originals. So, and these bulbs are like a regular, easy to get size. So, I made my own custom brackets. They screw in. They have a lock nut in here. Allow me to adjust in and out very nicely to, like, you know, micrometers even, if I really wanted to get that technical to get it right. I'm not worried about being that correct. So I put my digital meter on here a while ago, and these were out to lunch. Like, this was pointing, like, the truck is relatively level in here. With this, I was pointing upwards at almost 3 degrees. So no wonder I wasn't lighting up the road. And this one was just a little bit above, like maybe 0.8. So I'm going to get this down to 0 or maybe even a minus degree. So it's pointing a little more at the road. These ones we're going to try to get to as close to like 0, right dead center. And because with this is my low, these are my high. Both turn on high beam, but this one doesn't have the low. I didn't want the 4 lights to blind people. So that's what we're doing. I've got these 2 dialed in a little better. I used a manual angle finder I have. Tried to get them somewhat close. Later on, I'll get out the digital one and we'll double check them and get them as close as we can to accurate. So we got this back together now, and our lights are much better. Hang on a second, I gotta get this set right. It's right enough to get the sweet spot. There we go. So that's where those ones are sitting. Dead center or very close to, depending on where exactly you sit on the light, but pretty close. And these ones are just minus by 1 degree, which should be about perfect. I have had it out, and they seem to be a little bit better. I haven't had it out in the country yet. We will see. Hope to get it out soon. Now, if you followed our build with Mike's Big Bird, he bought these guys here. They didn't cost him a whole lot. We ended up not using them because he bought a whole new bumper. Because we're trying to make this into recovery, one of the things we're going to need when we're towing somebody is kind of to make a towing band. So I'm going to have a winch hooked to them, lifting the front end off the ground, but then I need something to keep it so that it's not pulling back on the winch and swinging. So usually, if you've watched Matt's Off-Road or other recoveries, they kind of make like a bridle between something and the truck. So we're thinking of putting these on. Now, I could put them on the front like this and just let them hang. Not bad, but I kind of don't want that. What I'm thinking of, possibly, is to insert them down here. I have heavy metal in there. They can hang in there, and then they're just there. So I'm pulling on them. I can bolt them and then weld them fully around the outside. So I know they're not going to go anywhere. And again, they're not actually doing all the pulling. They're just supporting to keep the other vehicle from getting pulled away. If I got to pull this thing out or pull something out, it's going to be from this. It is not going to be from these. These are just extra supports. So they're rated more than heavy enough. They're just little add-ons. So we're going to look into maybe putting them in there. Another one up here, just so I can make a little bridle to help in recoveries. we'll see what happens. Also, this is going to get the modification of the brackets from here into the frame so that this will not be able to twist outward at all and have lots of support. All right. Mitch no longer has his bumper. So what happened, we tweaked this and we tweaked this one. As you can see, they're not bad, but they're not that strong. Older metal, everything else. So I was thinking of building a brace coming up from under them into the frame. Two things won't work. One, there's things in the way, and two, if I do that, I cannot get at these two bolts. They are hard enough as it is. With all the junk I got in the way, the lights there, undoing that top bolt, I literally moved it an eighth of a turn every time. That's it. So I don't really want to bugger myself on that. So looks like we did have one weld let go on me, one that I didn't do a very good job on right here. You can see it didn't really catch too well on the rusty metal. So I'm going to try to clean this up a bit, but I think I'm going to grind this piece down level, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to replate this way across. I'm going to make a whole new plate, weld it in top, bottom, make it down a little bit lower, and just make it completely fold in this whole thing welded all the way down here, across the top, etc. So we got a little bit of work to do on that to get that on, and we got to get this done for the weekend. So the other problem that I haven't mentioned is lately I've been smelling gas, and it seems like it's coming from somewhere up in there. Every once in a while the top of the tank's wet. Yeah, I don't know if you guys can see it, but if I twist this up, it looks like, from what I can see, it looks like there's a tiny little hole right at the base of that first tube. So we're going to clean it up, throw some JB Weld in, and see if that gets rid of that problem. If we're lucky, that's it, and that solves that. We also seem to have some dampness here, so I'm going to double check and make sure I don't have a leak through the tank here somewhere. I'm going to scrub that all down and see if we've got anything. That's just mud, but I don't know why it's discolored and damp. So we're going to clean that off just in case we got a leak there too. And maybe we'll get some better gas mileage out of this because we won't be losing the gasoline. As I said too about the bumper being plug-in, these are all the plugs. Everything just plugs in. Makes it a whole lot easier. As well, when we yanked, this bumper was pre-made, we actually almost pulled this bolt here out. So I'm going to be welding it back in again and reinforcing around it as well, just to make sure that we don't rip this thing off. As I say, I got some plans for this, so I may have to take this apart and replate that and stiffen it up and everything else. But if I do, I do. I will deal with that at that point. Right now, I just want it enough that if I got to get yanked out this weekend, I can without having the bumper sitting behind Moose. Well, we've run into some technical difficulties. Looking at this, as you can see, one, it's old, and two, because the bolts go through here, and as you can see, limited space, as I mentioned before, it's hard to do them up. So to bring something from here back up isn't gonna work. It's just not. It's not gonna work for me. So what we're going to do is this one moved a bit, and I know why, so we're going to reinforce in here and double up the width of this one. This one bent too, and I hadn't noticed, so we're going to turn around and we're going to double plate it to give it more strength for this round, and we're going to fix the one nut that tried to rip out of the bumper. In the future, later on this season, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make some mods to this, and we're going to make this have flanges and bolt sideways right through into the frame. So it's going to either have a frame under that comes up like a Reese hitch, or it's going to just have
brackets out that come down the side here and bolt on. One or the other. We're going to try and get that so that it's pulling from the whole frame and it's pulling good and solid. It will not be able to twist, turn, anything, because I do want to be able to put a hell of a load on this, and that is our best bet. So I'm either going to tube it, whether I have to put a little tube underneath or on top or how, and make it like a Reese hitch, come back and then up into the frame, or if we just, as I say, flange right off of it down the side of the frame and then bolt through. We will figure that out later this season, but I have 2.5 hours today to get these parts made, welded in, and fix our little gas hole leak up there. One, so I don't blow the damn truck up, and two, so that we quit smelling and losing gas when we're on the trails. When I was fixing the bumper, I noticed the metal that the bolts were through was a little weak here. I tried to reinforce it, but as you can see, it didn't hold up too well. So, not a case of my welds. I think I pulled out behind it. The bracket doesn't seem to have moved. This side definitely held up well. Looks like it might have turned a little, but we're going to pull this bumper off. We're going to see what all's in there. I think we need to redo where the bolts are attached in the bumper. So new bolts, new attachment, maybe even a new, like another box frame inside of that with the bolts in it. And who knows, I may go some fancy-ass carriage bolt and start all the way out here and go right through everything. We'll see. I want it good and strong. I want it not to move. While I'm at this back bumper, I'm hoping to play on this. So this is our reverse camera, and it looks nice, but I can't tilt it up anymore. Because of the way the case is, it won't let me rotate any further up. It should, but it won't. So I've got to see what I can do when I get this out. I want to see what I can do about rotating. Like this part here is stopping me because it can't go in. So right at the very top of this is catching. So, and that's against the inner frame in this box. So what I'm going to do is we're going to look at elongating the holes, maybe bring this down just a little bit so I can tilt the whole camera end and shroud up just a little bit, because this is great. It looks at the hitch, which is about here. The only problem is I kind of want to bring it up so this is the last thing it sees, and this is what it's seeing. Where right now with this camera, I can see down here, and that's it. I can't really see out further. So I want to get it tilted up a bit more, so I'm looking more backwards towards what's kind of behind me a little more. So we're going to try to get that one fixed. The lights are working good in the bumper. No problems with that. This side stayed nice, straight, and strong, but I'm probably going to modify the inside of it as well with what we're doing to this side, just so that they match, and I know I'm not going to have problems in the future. So in the off-roading video, latest one, you saw that we mangled the flare. So as a joke, it's actually not a joke, this is my flares. It is truly 5-inch garden trim. Comes in a roll, you shove it in your garden like that. I actually have it out back of my house. But this nice little trough works perfect to sit right in there. And then I put the screws in. And as I say, worst comes to worst, like it did, it gets wrecked. I'm out maybe $5 because it's like, well, depending if you get it on sale or full price. Full price is about $20 for a roll. And a roll will do all 4 of my fenders. So here's a new one. I've had it sitting out in the sun so it bent better because it comes in a roll. So it's flexed out. We're going to line up some holes, get a couple of screws preset, And then we're going to get it back in here. Now, as you can see here, yep, even though I did body work on this part's all good, but I didn't do this part well enough, and yep, it's popping again. So I'm going to be driving the truck today, I'm hoping. So I'm just going to touch this up a little and put the flare on. Later on, we're going to sand this all down, and I'm going to replace from about here down into here. Isn't rusting. This is all fiberglass, but I stopped at the edge. I didn't really bring it up. I just replaced the sill, and that was where I failed. I should have come right up and in and done it. I just bonded this part, and even though I thought I had it clean, apparently I didn't, because that popped through. So we're going to clean this up later. Not today, but later. We're going to clean that all right down and redo that. Make sure it's all finished. We have the same problem over here. Even though I put rust stop on it and everything else, gotta love Ontario, I'm still popping back out here. And this is where we did damage. First time we were out, we pumped. I actually hit this so hard that this actually did flex, and this bumped up a bit. So when it did, it put a little crease in here and popped my Bondo that was here. So again, we're going to take this flare off. I'm going to fiberglass and clean this up and find out what's behind this and why we're rusting. Clean that all back up again, and hopefully get it to stop rusting. We've got to straighten these little bars here. As you can see, my mud covered posts here are bent. They're supposed to be straight, so we're going to get those straightened up. Just put a pipe wrench on them, bend them back the other way, will be good. And those will be fixed, and that'll get us. We've got the new tail light in already, looking pretty. So that's repaired. So here we go. There we go. New flare on. I cut it a little short, so it's a little shorter than it used to be here. Sucks, but I'm probably going to end up replacing it again later anyway, so it works for now. And there we go. Touched up a bit of the rust. And it looks better for now. I'll work on getting all this fixed up later. Looking good. Perfect. But, well, not perfect, but as perfect as Moose gets. So we'll work on that later. In here, I've got it ripped apart at the moment. What we're doing is we're adding another USB slot here to the center. So I've got this one here. I've added one to the center, as you can see. So currently they're on a switch. So when I turn on a switch, everything turns on. It's great, except for one of the things I use that for is my GPS speedometer. And it takes a bit to fire up. So I'm wanting to hook that one and also possibly the camera to a switched one, or non-switched, sorry, so keyed one. So as soon as I turn my ignition key on, it's going to fire up, and so is the so will the camera if I want it to. Or the camera can go to the other one and be running while the truck shut down. It all depends on what we're wanting to do. So we're just figured it'd be good to add one more and make the one keyed. The other one will still be off the accessories along with the lighter, so that it can be shut off and I can run auxiliary stuff off of those. But when the ignition keys come on, I've got 4 of them to run, so it'll run my other stuff as needed. So I'm just sitting there, you know, sometimes I don't want or need the speedometer on, but it doesn't draw anything. It's a little USB thing. It doesn't draw any power, but more of a case of needing it on and forgetting to turn the switch on and looking and going, oh yeah, I need the speedometer. So anyway, and there we go. We now have it. It's in. This one's not wired. This one isn't. I've still got to run the wire, and I don't have time today. But I got this one back. This one's up and running now. The new one in the center. So we've got that going. We've got this one that we could put a lighter charger, whatever you want in there. I've used it for the tire inflator. We got this one now, that runs off of that same switch, which is this switch here, as you can see. And then this one here is going to be keyed probably off the same source as these lights here. So when I turn my key on, these light up automatically. So because this is just USB, I'm not drawing much off of it. I'm probably just going to draw some power from it.
Hey, that's it for today. Due to some camera error, I've really got to fire myself. I'm a lousy cameraman. I ended up screwing up and I lost a bunch of stuff. So I apologize. The bumper, as you saw, is back on. It's straight. That's all I got done for the moment. We are waiting for some metal and some components. We're cleaning out one of our other shops, and I'm hoping I've got the stuff there. I don't have to go buy anything. So I'm waiting for that. And then we're going to rebuild the inside of that bumper. The outside's good and strong, but the inside's shot. So we're going to rebuild the inside of it and make it bulletproof. I believe I've decided that I'm going to bolt it right from the outside right through everything when I'm done. So it shouldn't move again when we're done. It should be solid as a brick. Other than that, that's it for today's video. I thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Hit that like, hit that subscribe. I need your help to build the channel. Can't do it without you. I appreciate. We've got more stuff coming, and I will see you next video.